Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining me for this announcement. I particularly want to express my appreciation to the legislative leaders that have joined me at the podium today, who have worked really diligently for this last legislative effort, which is what we all expected out of this session, which is the effort on job skill training, and to bring greater coordination, more focus, more discipline to this important aspect of economic development in our state. I also appreciate each of the agency directors that have joined with me today at the rostrum that have worked with the legislative leaders on this. Director Bassett from Department of Workforce Services, Dr. Childers from Department of Career Education, Dr. Powell from Board of Higher Education, Danny Games, AEDC, and Johnny Key I saw come in, who's still non-titled, but we're working on that. And as you can see from the rostrum today, this has been a totally bipartisan effort in bringing together a number of different legislative bills into this workforce training package that we offer to the legislature. And let me summarize what we're trying to accomplish. As everyone knows, and I see Randy Zook behind me with the chamber, that if we're going to accomplish a sustained period of economic growth in the state of Arkansas, which is my goal, we have to not just bring industry to the state, but we also have to have the workforce and the skills and the training programs that will sustain the industry that we bring here. And I've been delighted to see across the campaign and as governor, so many schools, two-year colleges, four-year institutions that are focused on the job skill training aspect of what we have to do in economic development. It is a great need that we have. And I've articulated 4 key principles that are important for success in job skill training. And I've articulated these for the last year, but I'll continue to do so, and I think it's the focus of this legislation. First, business and industry by region of the state should guide the job skill training programs. Every area might be different. The job skill needs in one area might be different from the job skill needs in another area. They guide the training programs. Secondly, we have to have a partnership. And that partnership is between our two-year colleges, our technical schools, and our high schools, all engaged and have responsibility in career and technical education. They cannot operate as silos. They need to operate together seamlessly so that the training leads to a job in the end. Third, it is important as a principle that funding, money has to follow this pattern. Funding has to follow these priorities set by business and industry in the needs in the workplace. And fourth principle is that state government agencies should be organized around these principles. And as we know, we have a number of different agencies that have responsibility, important responsibilities in job skill training. They have to be coordinated to a higher degree than ever before. And that leads to this coalition, who can I attest to how hard they've been working, because they've sat in this conference room hammering it out, not always in unity, but arriving in unity because of the desire to get the job done. And this coalition has worked effectively that have led to 3 different key pieces of legislation that are working its way through the General Assembly. These 3 bills include SB 791, which establishes the local regional boards within the Department of Workforce Services. This legislation will set the priority in 10 different regions led by industry and business leaders, economic developers, as to what the job skill training programs are needed in that region. The second bill is the Workforce Initiative Act that will be filed, I understand, by Senator English, and that is in draft form now, but it creates grants through the Arkansas Department of Higher Education and the Department of Career Education so that these funds will go to the immediate job skill training needs that we have right now. These are quick funds that are quickly available that will prioritize the existing needs of industry in career education. The third bill is also by Senator English, SB 368, which creates the Office of Skills Development within the Department of Career Education, and also reconfigures the board so that it will more reflect the statewide needs of industry. Importantly, and I think this is one of the major points of this news conference, is to put a focus on those three bills as they go through the legislative session, but also on the funding side, there's $15 million immediately available that will come from AEDC and other funding sources into the grant programs that are immediately available through the Department of Higher Education and the Department of Career Education. These will go to short-term fixes, money that's needed, and this will have a statewide perspective through the Office of Skills Development, the statewide perspective. The funding also will include $2 million that I will designate and pledge for my discretionary funds that will go to the grant programs that are needed for the regional boards and their focus and partnerships with the career and technical schools and the high schools that are developing the job skill training programs that industry says they need in that region. We're obviously going to have continuing funding sources for this, but this is a strong down payment of the state of Arkansas and sends a message to our surrounding states, our competitors, and those that are looking at Arkansas that our heart is here, our legislation is here, our funding is here, and finally I will add that we're going to have my continued leadership in this effort. I will establish a governor's cabinet on workforce that will include the key agencies that impact workforce education, Department of Workforce Services, Arkansas Department of Career Education, Arkansas Department of Higher Education, AEDC, as well as the Arkansas Department of Education. All of these agencies play a key role in job skill training. We have to coordinate it every day. I will lead the governor's cabinet on workforce education, and it will be represented by those various agencies. That's to assure the statewide perspective, the monitoring of these funds, that it goes to the purpose intended by the legislature, as well as making sure that we're meeting the needs of industry and it's tied to our economic development needs. These are key things that we can do. What we're doing is not novel. What we're doing is critical. And I say it's not novel because we already see great partnerships already existing, from Arkansas Tech University to UAFS in Fort Smith with their Career Education Center, partnering with high schools, partnering with the college, partnering with industry. We just want to take those examples across the state, set it up in this format of good legislation, and then provide the leadership and continued funding to meet the needs of industry. With this, I'm confident that we will have a job skill program that will rival any in our region in the Southeast, and it will allow us to bring continued industry and business development to the state of Arkansas.